And there we go. Okay. Hello to everyone listening. This is Toonkind at 12 FPS, The Wounds That Never Heal. My name is Dewp, and I am going to be playing Bastard Bird in a Wheelchair, Lao Vis Blind. This FPS is a follow-on from another one called Hi, My Name is Lao. I don't think you'll need to listen to that to get a lot of context here, but it might be fun to listen to.
It was definitely fun to listen to. We had a great time. I am not biased in the slightest.
Absolutely not. We are completely unbiased judges of our own performances. Also,
Oh.
hey, who the hell are you? What are you doing in my FPS?
Surprise! I'm the other person this FPS is with. No, Dew is not doing this FPS alone. Though that would be fun to listen to. Hi, I'm Candlestick, and today I'm going to be playing Cassie Trebleclef, who is been asked a very pointy question and has a few pointy questions of her own. So, yeah, fair warning, this game might get, probably more than likely will get angsty.
Hmm. Hopefully only medium, but depending on the questions asked and the direction this goes, could go higher.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like we both have, both of our characters have things that could make the game go angst go higher. It's not just one person.
Oh yeah. We both have pockets full of knives here.
That's part of the fun.
Yeah, knife roulette. Let's go.
Ah, alright, well, so,
Did
um,
we flash straight back to the kitchen, or did
um,
you wanna?
I think I kind of want to follow up from that question because
Oh,
uh Cassie is going to try and deny it. So I'm going to roll a deception.
cool. Let me just check Lau's insight mod. Okay.
Oh good.
What is your deception?
I'm going to
Lovely.
show you. Give me a moment to type it in.
Go ahead. Um, oh no, that doesn't even beat his passive insight. Yeah. Okay. What wonderful lie.
Oh, well, okay. So to be fair, she's going to land and then she's going to look at them and go, um, well, I mean, I have had a redesign, and, well, I didn't think my wings had changed that much, though they are a bit shorter than before. I'm surprised you even noticed. Which sounds like a very, very plausible thing, had it not been for the absolute panic that was very obvious on her face before she said that.
Oh my gosh. There is just a deadpan stare from Lao as he looks at this clearly fibbing woman.
I mean,
Something.
it's not fully a lie. It's not fully the truth either.
Mm. Yeah, no, Lao's just gonna shuffle a bit in his chair, rest his beak on the palm of his hand, and just stare at Cassie. Now, something tells me that that is a very abridged version of the truth.
I think. God, how is she gonna handle this? Just just I think something along the lines of like, didn't you say you were tired and wanted to go home? That sounds really good right now.
Now, thinks. I'm just gonna roll him a quick thing. Okay, cool, that's fine. 18. He definitely resists yawning. Um, um, blinks a couple times, and it's just well, I am a little tired in terms of physically doing things, but I suppose if we are done for the day, then if you are amenable, we can finish this conversation somewhere a little more private. And at this point, I zoom out, and there's just a load of people going in and out around them to this Conquer Temple, which, by the way, is where they were last episode.
Yeah, in the doorway.
Yes. I feel
Uh,
like Lao actually kind of looks up a little bit at the doorway, and there's like an arch of like the archway into the Crunkle Temple has like two crab arms coming down the side, and there's a giant crab just staring down at Lao as he looks up, and it makes his line up just kind of shivers a bit.
yep, yep. So, Cassie's gonna, well, probably gonna sigh. Oh, she's not getting out of this. Alright. Um, guess it's time to go home. We'll go back to Laos. So, just gonna probably start walking. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Do you want a flash cut back?
Yeah, I think that works well.
I feel like she takes a couple of steps and then Lao moves out of frame as he wheels himself away, and then it just kind of cuts to the sound of two mugs clinking down on the table. Um,
Yeah, I do think, again, she probably is going to try, and like forego this conversation with a well, nice seeing you. Do say hi to Chifley, who's probably still dead out on the couch at the moment, and goes to leave, and then the clinking of the two mugs down on the table.
Chifley is gonzo. This man works too hard. Um, Lao is gonna blink very slowly. Oh, well, I suppose if you are in a rush, I won't stop you, but he just kind of glances at the tea and back at Cassie. I just, well, I've been hearing from Chifley about how well mannered you are, and I was rather looking forward to having a little sit down and actually having a nice, or well, a nice cup of tea for you at least, as an apology for the one I gave you before. Do you want me to roll a persuasion?
I mean, yeah, roll a persuasion, but you may have advantage because you hit like you hit on some of her like weak points. They're just the
Yes,
very polite. Good manage.
yes,
Just
yes, you
like, I
did.
don't want to disappoint people.
Now, with his insight from earlier, I've got your freaking number. That's a 21.
I don't even think he needs the advantage. Yeah, yeah, she's just
No, that
gonna.
was with advantage.
Oh, okay. um, and she's just gonna like slump, sigh, and then just like sit down at the table and take the mug.
Um, Cassie, you get a bright and definitely falsified smile shot your way as Lel lifts the mug up, takes a sip. Um,
What tea does she have this time, out of curiosity?
um, take a sip and find out.
Yeah, okay, she's gonna take a sip. Do I need to roll anything this time?
Oh, it is a normal cup of tea. Although it's not had any sugar added to it, it's just like black tea.
Yeah, okay. Lao is probably gonna be affronted by this, but she's gonna make a bit of a face and then add like 4 spoonfuls of sugar into her tea.
Lau slowly blinks. Just, I, I'm typically not one to judge how people take their tea, but can you at least use honey instead of sugar? That is that's not it's not And he just sort of stutters and stops and reaches a hand out and then pulls it back and he lifts it to his head and just forms a fist and bonks it on his head a couple times.
She's just gonna be like, "Oh, do you have honey?"
Oh, yes, of course I have honey. And he clicks his fingers, and then door, a cabinet opens, and the honey just seems to levitate out, float across the table.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks. She's gonna add the honey into the tea as well.
Oh, Lao visibly cringes. Oh,
Uh, I'm so sorry, Lao. I know this is probably too throttlingly sweet, but it's kind of like it's a little bit of a toon gag, but also she's got a sweet tooth.
he's entirely valid. Lao, on the other hand, does not like sweets, and this is horrifying to him.
He is so valid.
But yeah, as she's adding more sugar to her tea, um, Lao, Lao, I suppose, asks, so, you don't have to tell me, but I am curious and a little, not concerned, but I suppose curious works. What exactly happened? And he kind of gestures up and down at her wings.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I think because she's still a little bit distracted by making her tea, I think she's just gonna answer, the, uh, you mean why they're smaller? It's because, they're still growing back.
Cool, 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 cool. Okay, that's good. There was a pause and a slow clunk as the mug is put back down on the table. Um, and oh gosh, what are you thinking, boy? Okay, I know what he's thinking. Um, grow back.
Yeah, I think at this point's when she's realized what she said, and there's like that, kind of, oh, and cringe face, and then she's, I think, gonna sigh and just nod and sit and, um, yeah, they, uh, kind of got shattered.
I'm sorry. Every word that comes out of this girl's mouth, I have to roll with. But he got a nat 20, so it's fine.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Lao is the face of calm. Odds threads his fingers together. Cassie, when you say that your wings were shattered, does that have anything to do with? And he kind of glances around the room and looks back at her. His curls is twitching.
Oh, you still there?
Hello. What's the last thing you
Okay.
heard?
Uh, the his curls curl in and out, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was finished there.
Oh, okay. I've missed then what he was referring to, like
Ah.
what. I think she's just sort of like what, looking like she just has no clue what he's talking about.
Uh, two of his curls start twitching at that. You remember the incident with Tifley's, um, his brow furrows redesign, was it?
Oh, that. You mean my magic? Uh, yeah, I guess. Kinda. It's it's a little bit more complicated than that. Um, they got um they got overloaded with magic and couldn't handle it. But because they are magic, it's Chris has been teaching me a little bit more about it, how they work. Like they are physical, but they're also magical. But because they come from magic, they came back.
Lao. Yeah, no, Lao nods at that. They got overloaded. Was that a result of your happened? Chiefly, you said it was sort of related to that, and I'm glad that your sister is supporting you in this. How, I suppose, what, where did the magical overload source from? Is it kind of Cassie up and down? Is it something that he shovels off?
Sorry, I missed what you said at the end there. You got a little bit choppy.
That's okay. He just kind of he says uh, it's something to do with, and he kind of looks Cassie up and down. He just trails off.
Ah, okay. Uh, I am trying to figure out how she would respond to this.
It's okay. Do you mind if I roll a medicine check? Because Lao, upon hearing that she has experienced a magical overload, is gonna do a little
Yeah, go
looky
for it.
loo. What's your
Um,
medicine one?
hmm. Uh, yeah, I think, ooh, 18. Yeah, okay. Just trying to think what he would get with that. Um, okay, so, um, with that 18 in medicine, the wings look healthy. Um, they definitely are smaller than they were before. They're probably about 3/4 of the size they were before. Um, but like they look pretty much the same, though there is like this sort of, maybe they look a little bit extra shiny than before. But then yeah, the other thing he will notice with that is where they attach to her lower back, which is visible between like her top and her skirt. There are like surgery scars there where the like in her skin like lines against where the wings come out at her back.
Hmm. Okay. Lao's gonna sit on that for a second and wait for Cassie to respond.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out what she says in that, because she doesn't want, like, and she obviously knows why, but she's trying to figure out how to say that, because she doesn't really want to lie, but she also doesn't really want to talk about it. So I think she's just gonna sort of like fidget a little bit and uh maybe not actually answer him.
Hmm. One answer's the best kind. Um. Hmm. Okay, Lao. Well, I'm glad that at least they came back and seem functional. They do function, yes, they're not just. I've seen them flap on occasion, but I'm not sure if that's just a reflex or if that's a controlled motion.
No, they work. I I mean, I did have to relearn how to fly several times actually, but they they I haven't lost that ability, no.
There is a visible um, sort of slump to Lao's face of relief. Um, and he's gonna take one hand, pick it up, raise it back to his mouth. Could you roll me a perception, please?
Sure, I can.
Why?
Ooh.
Lao, why? No, I'm doing disadvantage, screw you.
It's not too bad.
Um, so, with disadvantage, because actually, no, you meet that even. Yeah, you know what? You get that. That's fine. Do hear he lifts the mug to his beak and takes a sip. You do hear him mutter under his breath, "At least one of us has functional limbs," and he takes a sip. He clearly did not mean for her to hear this.
Yeah, I think she can tell that. But I think she's gonna sit on it a little bit and then just hey Lau,
Up at her.
can I ask you a personal question?
I suppose so. Cocks his head to the side.
Um, I mean, you don't have to answer if it makes you uncomfortable, but have you always been in a wheelchair?
Roll me an insight. Um,
Yep, I shall do that.
um,
That's not very
that's
good.
oh well. Well, it's better than average. So you can see that for a brief moment, there's just an old sort of tiredness that crosses his faces. Crosses his face. Before it goes away. Um, yeah. Well, oh, well, the short answer. No, I've not always needed this.
How how long did it take you to adjust to it?
I would say, well, at the time it was, I would say about 2 years, possibly less. It didn't take very long, I don't believe. When one is determined to have their own agency and mobility, you don't really let something like alternative mode of transport stop you.
Do you, do you wish it do you wish it you didn't have to use it?
Do you mean I didn't need it in the first place, or that I don't need it anymore?
Both? Um, I know they're probably different answers.
Yes, they're both similarly different, if that makes any sort of sense. can't say that I wish I never had it, because if I didn't, I don't think I ever would have had Soul. Soul would never have come about. At least I don't think. And his brows furrow and the curls in the back of his head tighten very quickly to the back. I'm not certain if Soul would be here right now if this hadn't happened to me. And as for whether I wish I didn't need it anymore, in some terms, yes and no. It would be nice to not have to limit myself. I still have some form of mobility without it. I'm just very slow and it's not easy. But there are certain advantages to using one, needing one.
She, her hand actually goes to Pig's head when when Lao mentions like soul, and that does actually seem to that like she sort of connects with that yeah, I suppose that, yeah, I can definitely see that. Um, and just sort of taking in his answer like very very um without any sort of reservation, like guess sort of hanging on his words, like she really wants to know this, and just sort of looks contemplative afterwards. um yeah, I think, yeah, she's just gonna think about his answer for a little bit.
Um, she does. Lao's gonna follow her hand over to Pig a couple of times, realizes he hasn't offered Pig anything, and he's gonna clear his throat. And he's. Give me a second, sorry, I just gotta prep myself for this. Oh. Right, okay. Cassie, whilst you're deep in contemplation, you're going to hear a come from Lao.
uh,
He honks at Pig.
do you want me to roll? Do you want to roll another animal handling?
Screw it, let's go. I love Lao sometimes. Damn. Lao, what is going on with you? He's rolling really well today. That's a 23 in animal handling.
Yeah, I think um probably because they're pretty happy since they're sitting in Cassie's lap and just getting like head scritches. Just gonna like sort of honk back at Lao. They seem pretty happy where they are though.
Um, Lao, Lao's just gonna nod. Um, and you're gonna hear him snap his fingers again, and another cupboard opens, and out floats like two small jars that he clunks onto the table. One has sweet corn, and the other has peas. And he just
Oh,
kind of pushes them over to Pig.
Pig will
The
love
jars kind of
that.
flip open.
You get another like sort of like um honk bark of like thanks. um yeah.
It's just a shortcut away. Well, Cassie has her think.
Yeah, I think she's gonna, like, once she's sort of mulled that over a little bit, um she's she has more questions, but I'm having a hard time trying to like articulate them. Like she just wants to um God, just trying to figure out how to phrase this. Like I know what she wants, but I'm like, okay, but how do I translate that into words?
I mean, if you can't think of it at the moment, we can like retcon it later and say how she says it. You can just say what she wants to ask and say that she asks that in a particular manner.
Yeah, okay. Well, maybe I'm just gonna actually have her like ramble a little bit of like out loud her thoughts. Just I never thought of it that way. I'm I will admit I guess before when I met I didn't want to ask because I didn't want it to be rude, but I guess I realize that maybe not asking was the ruder thing, and maybe I how how do you want other people to treat you about it, and do you want it to be like normal, or make some accommodations, or ask you if you need help, or and is it the same for other other people, um and I is it always is it easier some days than others, and how long did it take you to get to a place where you were more content with what had happened, and just sort of like
Okay.
kind of going on like that, like she is rambling, she doesn't know how to stop.
Um, that last bit, I was going to hold his hand up, and you are going to see his outline kind of wiggle a little bit. He takes a breath, slowly lets it out, and says, "Okay, I'll address these as best as I can. Firstly, I don't mind if people ask, so long as they don't mind getting a very deep answer. No, I don't want anyone to make a big deal out of it, and I especially don't want people to assist me. I've made adaptations so that I can get around myself. If I am truly in need of help, you will know it. I'll either be very clearly halfway sunken into a pit of quicksand, or well, it'll be very obvious if I'm in need of assistance or unconscious. One of the two." Takes a sip. I'm trying to think about what else she asked.
I sort of just dumped everything that was in her head out in one long
Yeah,
spiel. I'm sorry.
it's okay. My brain's just like, okay, trying to keep track of what's what. What else did she ask? She said, come on, it was right there. How long did it take? Right, yeah. As for, um, how long did it take for him to adjust and accept his situation? Which is the last question she asked. He pauses, and again, his line art is still wiggling, and he looks the dead in the eye. I I Whilst I've accepted what's happened to result me sitting in this chair, I wouldn't necessarily say I'm content. And you can roll another insight if you want.
Sure, I can do that. Oh, that's a very good one.
Or Is emoji? 21. Okay, with a 21 on insight, clearly see that he's trying to keep it off his face, but it's kind of leaking through his line art anyway. His line art is upset. You can kind of tell that he is thinking about something. Whatever he's thinking about, his face is full of regret and tinge of betrayal and an even smaller tinge of longing and uh even maybe a slight bit of self-derision.
Mm.
He kind of shakes his head and says, I I I accept that the events played out. Doesn't mean I'm content with how it happened. That it even happened or occurred at all.
Oh, I was hoping that the anger and the hurt would go away.
Oh, Cassie. He reaches out one of his hands, arm up across the table. It depending on the circumstances, depending upon how it comes about, however your injuries aim to be, the anger and hurt sometimes fade until there's just another thing that happened to be put in a box in the back of your head. And sometimes they're the only thing that gets you out of bed in the morning. It never goes away. Not quite. But I think in your case, of time and support, other things will come to be more important.
But what about you? Do you feel that way?
About me.
Well, she said, "Do you feel that way?"
Al just waves his other hand. Don't worry so much about me. I can handle myself.
And just kind of, do you want to roll an insight?
Yeah, sure. Okay. What's your mod again? Cool. That's a beautiful, lovely 19.
Ooh, nice. Okay, well, okay. The look that Cassie is giving Lao in return to that is, one that, it. There is probably forefront is some frustration there. Um, there, there's a bit of like, um, there's like also some anger and some guilt and uh like essentially like you get the impression that she doesn't want to drop it. Like part of those emotions is for herself, but part of them is also for Lao, and then maybe part of them is for someone else.
I wonder who it could be. uh, Al just slides his hand back to his mug. Takes another sip. I see. I'm an adult. I'm not anyone else's responsibility but my own. I've I've managed to take care of myself since I've left my clan years ago. Well, kind of squints. A couple of years ago now, actually. I've I can take care of myself. If you're at all concerned about that, I um I'm used to it.
I don't want you to be used to it. I don't want anyone to have to get used to it.
That's a very that's a very kind thing to say, Cassie, but I want you to think practically. Just a moment. How how many people do you know that are struggling now?
Um. Oh. Hmm. Um. I think. Uh. There is a bit of a look on her face, like with that insight, that she's trying to figure out how to answer that. Without. Without like giving away anything or too personal. And then just a
More than one.
Lao nods. I won't ask for a specific number. I think I've learned better. Ask a tune how many problems they have, considering. Takes another sip. But just for a moment, consider the amount of people you know and how many of them have their own problems that you could help with. You can't help everyone. I'm not saying you need to pick and choose people you know or people you care about or your friends, your family. I'm not saying you need to pick one to help. I'm saying that you can't be there all the time for everyone. I Sometimes you need to let them stand on their own and figure it out. That's what happened with me. I kind of pauses. I I hope you don't mind, Cassie. Do you mind if I tell you a little? Oh, that's dogs. The neighbours is barking. Um, Loud bangs on the wall.
quiet down.
Shush. Um, so, gosh, what I was saying. Right, yes, that's what he was saying. He's asking, do you mind if I told you a little something
She's
about,
just. Oh, you keep going.
um, sorry, give me just a moment.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Ah, right in the middle of a tense scene.
Sorry, my dogs were going nuts.
No, you're good. You're so good. It's fine.
Okay, what's that saying? Right, yes, you're saying, would Cassie mind if he went on a little tangent?
Yeah, yeah. She's got a nod, shrug, like she really doesn't mind.
Cool. Val's gonna sit back and clear his throat. Well, when I first left the sanctuary of my clan and ventured out into the world, I was told many things about people out there. I was told to keep my guard up. I was told not to trust certain people. I was told a lot. And I went to college, and when I was there, I didn't have the people I grew up with to support me. I didn't have my mother's, I didn't have my uncle. I was alone in a crowd full of strangers, trying to make my own way. And perhaps it's not quite the same. Perhaps that's more of a coming of age story than someone who is experiencing troubles in their life, but it is still a period of time where I was adrift without anyone, me, and Dewp, of course, help me. Sometimes that is how life is. Sometimes you need to go and do things on your own. Know that you can, and if you're struggling, sometimes you need to face that struggle yourself. I'm not saying you can't help your friends. Sometimes they need to fight their own battles. You can't be there for every war they fight. That makes for a very exhausted soldier.
I think she's oh, yeah, okay. Okay, I know what she's gonna ask. Um um
Does that mean I have to fight my own battles without any help?
Lao's eyes immediately snap to her, and he actually shouts, "No!" He stops. He looks through the archway. His outline is kind of wiggling a little bit in panic, and he checks through the archway. I feel like we cut to the sofa, and Chipley's breath pauses. He just shuffles over slowly in his sleep, and a slight bit of drool immediately crystallizes that comes out of his mouth. Sorry, Wes.
Yeah, just the another like loud snore kind of thing. I'm still asleep.
A little snuffle. Sighs. Annie, oh, you don't have to fight your own battles. If you have your family with you. You said you have your sister, don't you?
I have, well, yeah, I have Chris, and I have my dad, and my aunt, and Pig, and Chifley, and even Missy, even though she's still too little to know a lot of it, but yeah, and friends too.
Al slowly nods. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Lau kind of scrunches his beak up a bit and squints, like he's trying to think about how to say this. I'm not saying you shouldn't help your friends and your family if they're struggling. I'm trying to say is that pick your battles. Don't overexert yourself. Don't spread yourself too thin because you are still getting help yourself. See, and I'm not saying you're not strong enough to help other people whilst you're also recovering, but just allow. Lau keeps going, and Cassie can clearly see the consternation on his face and his difficulty in trying to get his words out. Like, it's very clear he's struggling. He's trying to be like inspirational and motivational. He's struggling.
I just you given him like the person who like Chifley responds well to the tough love, but Cassie doesn't. And that's
No.
obviously something Lao's struggling very hard with.
Look, Lao does not do pep talks. He doesn't. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He is so valid. I love him to pieces.
Oh gosh, don't love him to pieces. There won't be much of him left. Anyway,
Yeah, fair enough.
Cassie, you can clearly see he's trying to say something like motivational. He is struggling.
To be honest, like, that maybe comforts her even more because, like, again, he does remind her a lot of her sister, and she's not always the best with words either.
He's more thinky than talky.
I'm gonna roll a d2, see if she decides to say this or not. Alright, 1 for yes, 2 for no.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
she does, she nods to that, like she is taking in his words and then, like, seems to think for a moment before,
I feel I feel guilty sometimes for how angry I feel about everything.
That Lao stops his sputtering. Everything.
Just, I mean, I shouldn't be so upset by, cause I mean, I, I guess I'm kind of lucky that my wings are even coming back. I know that it's not everyone gets that. And so when I get angry and frustrated by how long it's taking, it makes me feel guilty, and I want to help to sort of make up for that.
Firstly, I hold Cassie so fucking gently. Secondly, I need to roll a couple of things.
I'm so sorry, Lao.
It's okay.
She has not told anyone this.
It's fair. Cool. Okay. So just to let you know what these rolls are. First, he was a 17 with save to not like immediately shout, "Shut the fuck up! You have your own issues and don't compare yourself." He doesn't do that. Instead, he reaches into his hammer space and he gets a 1. The second roll was to determine how sneakily he does this, which is an 11. So Cassie does see him reach underneath his blanket for something, and the 3 is what he pulls out. The 3. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
Oh, God.
What did you pull out?
Jesus. Cassie, you see him reach underneath his blanket, furrow his brow, and then pull something out. And what can only be described as a wiggling black line is in his hand. And you can hear it go as it kind of zigzags in all different directions, and it seems to be a line that just kind of stops in and out sharply and like breaks and reforms and breaks and reforms and breaks and reforms. And Lao eyes widen, shoves that right back under his blanket.
Yeah, I mean, just oh, is she yeah, I think she's gonna ask, what was that? Just sort of wipe her eyes a little bit.
And oh my fucking god. What's your deception, sir? It's a dirty 20 on a deception.
I mean, I gotta roll pretty high to beat that, so and I don't think she's in the right mind to do so. So I'm gonna say no.
He shakes him. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna try and do it in disadvantage because he. Fuck you with your 19. No, okay. Oh law today. Okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, I did roll an insight if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. Oh, 19. Ooh. Hey, you look at this man. There is his outline is starting to wriggle a bit, and there's even like small bits of what seem to be charcoal, kind of black, puffy bits of smoke coming off of him. His face is full of panic and disgust, and mostly panic and disgust, and actually a little bit of shame.
I think she's going to ask,
Are you alright?
I'm fine. This isn't. Besides, we weren't talking about me. We're talking about you. Looks at Cassie and glares.
yeah, yeah, she's kind of like punched in on herself a little bit. Like her hands are sort of going like in a steady pattern along like Pig's back, and they've sort of like gotten very like they're basically lying on top of her chest kind of thing, like yeah.
Al's glare's gonna soften a bit. Cassie, don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare how much you've lost or how much you've gained to other people. People lose and gain things all the time. Sometimes to you it may seem marginal, and sometimes to them it might be everything. I mean, I once knew a person. No. Oh yes, actually, I knew a person from my old clan who had this hat, and they loved it. They'd made it themselves. And one day, when they were out hunting, they lost the hat, and for years afterwards, they mourned that hat. And to anyone else, it's just their hat, but to them, they put a lot of hard work and effort into making it, and they could make another one. It wouldn't be the same one. So, it might seem arbitrary to you. Don't compare your losses to other people's. You're allowed to feel angry, or kind of squints and leans back. I don't actually know what happened to you. You still haven't explained that part.
God, okay, I'm gonna roll a wisdom, see if she's just gonna blurt it out or not. Should I roll that at disadvantage or?
Completely up to you.
Alright, I'm gonna roll it at disadvantage. Oh yeah, okay, cool.
Sounds good. Uh-oh. Maybe.
Yeah, I think she's just gonna yeah, she's just gonna go.
Oh, right. I got kidnapped.
Just that's it.
Give me a second. There is a gift that perfectly encapsulates. what Lao's face looks like at the minute. There we go. Lao does this. And he slowly links his hands back together, rests his beak on the top, and just looks at Cassie. Very calmly. Kidnap. Interesting, this is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I suppose that, I, I mean, Chiefly didn't know about it for a while, and then they rescued me, so I guess, according to them, I was only really missing for 24 hours, I guess.
Wait a sec.
I'm so sorry.
The minute you say that, it's okay. When the minute you say Chifley didn't know about it until such and such a time, you clearly see like the briefest hint of like, why didn't he tell me across Nell's face? Just like surprise and slight hurt, perhaps even a little bit of betrayal. But
oh no!
takes that
Oh
off.
god, is she gonna? She's probably. Oh, she's gonna try and make this better, and I don't think she's gonna do a good job of it. She's God, I'm so sorry, Wes.
Okay.
God. Okay, that was a 7, so I don't think she's going to blurt out anything really incriminating. But probably something like,
But I mean, he, like I said, he didn't know for most of the time I was gone, and then, it was we probably didn't say anything because I probably I mean I didn't really want many people knowing about it because I I mean with the whole um changeling and everything and not trusting people and
As she keeps talking, the beak that was resting on his hands, those hands have slowly gone up and around his beak and over the top of his beak and slowly creeping up towards his eyes.
oh my god.
So the palms of his hands are resting flat against his eyes and his beak is pointing down at the table.
God, yeah. I mean, at least she didn't mention anything about any personal reasons Chifley might not would have wanted to bring it up. So
Yeah, it's fine. It's so fine.
I think she's just gonna panic a little bit more and say,
and then I know that he was coming over here because you needed help and I guess it's really not a good time to bring up, oh hey, my family member went missing, but hey, it's okay, I'm here to stay with you while they're all at my house. And
yeah.
She continues. You see the curls on the back of his head just loosen and lie lank and flat against the back of his neck. And his head slowly lowers down until it's thunking on the table. And both of his hands have linked at the back of his head, and he's just plunk, plunk onto the table.
Yeah, I think
With every thunk, like the teacups rattle a bit.
she's just gonna, are you alright? She's gonna lift the teacup out of the way of his, like, path so that it won't get knocked over.
At that, he pauses on the last thunk, slowly unlaces his fingers, both of his palms on the table, pushes himself up with a deep breath. I can't lie and say I haven't been better. changeling would explain why he didn't notice for so long. And he lifts one of his hands up, pinches the bridge of his beak. I see, that's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shit that happens to you. No toons tend to have things happen to them more often than real kind, but fuck me.
I guess. I mean,
She's just gonna shrug, like, oh, I don't know how she doesn't know how to respond to this, and she's worried that, like, opening her mouth again is gonna make things worse again.
Lao peers over the bridge of his hand. Is this normal for toons to get themselves into such dangerous situations and have scars and trauma afterwards? I was under the impression it was all mostly funs and games.
it generally depends on what genre you are. But that can also change too. It, eh, it's. I don't understand most of it. Chris knows more about it. She could probably give you an entire scientific presentation on it if you wanted.
The minute you say the word genre, Lao's face just blanks. It's very clear he has no idea what you're talking about. But you mentioned Chris, his head cocks to the side. Might be an idea to talk to your sister. I haven't really talked to her at all. Actually, now I think about it, despite going to the same college, even for a brief amount of time. Might be an idea.
I mean, that does sound like Chris. She didn't tend to interact with people a lot and was too focused on her work. She's getting better with it now. She might even come around if I asked really nicely.
Well, she doesn't. I'm sure I could ask someone, and he kind of glances up to give her a light escort.
Well, yeah. I will ask really nicely, but she has also been a bit busy at the moment. With other things. She works. She researches um like toon illnesses and curses and magical illnesses and that kind of thing. So, as you probably have seen with how many of these sort of things happen to toons, she can get pretty high in demand sometimes.
Nods. And, yes, no, I imagine that sort of thing. By the way, that deception was to hide his interest. The minute you said magical tune maladies and sicknesses, he says, yes, I can imagine that someone that studies that sort of thing would be high in demand, considering apparently it's not all fun times and laughter here, as I first assumed. So, he kind of stops and blinks and looks back at Cassie and says, "That's anyhow. We're quite beside the point, weren't we? We're talking about yes, anger." And he points a finger at you.
Yep.
Don't put yourself down for being angry and upset about that, especially because apparently you were kidnapped and replaced. And Lau just shakes his head. I cannot fathom that happening to me. I would be enraged if some doppelganger took my place and managed to convince the people I cared about that they were me. I would be fucking livid. Would have beat them senseless into the fucking ground. Please tell me you beat them senseless into the fucking ground.
Um, well, I wasn't really. able to do much of anything at the time. No. Unless you met my family, and no, I definitely didn't do that. I mean, I don't blame most of them since I was kind of acting odd before I got taken, and it was just reconnected with Chris after like 2 years, and the doppelganger was avoiding the rest of my family, Chifley in particular, so that they couldn't give away that they weren't me. And it was finally when Chifley tracked them down that he realized that something was wrong.
Kind of wrinkling of Lao's face and outline for a second. Well, sorry that you didn't get your kicks in. If, I presume that everyone responsible was at least dealt with.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that the guy that was responsible for it got chucked through a window, but I don't know all the details.
Defenestration is a popular way to go. You just have to make sure that they don't know the spell levitate or fly, otherwise it's rather meaningless. Um, now sounds like he is speaking from experience. um, but I'm glad that at least, on the sounds of it, everything has been taken care of. Kind of glances over towards the archway, the living room where Chifley is conked out, and I am glad that Chifley eventually um picked up that something was wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad he did too. Um, I yeah.
Want to roll an insight?
Sure, I can do that. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not fantastic.
It's fine. See, that's okay. Um, as you're kind of thinking about stuff, and you see Lao look towards Chifley, you do see his line art. Well, his charcoal lining seems to get kind of soft. Um, I've seen a little fluffy. As he looks over at Chifley, and he's just kind of tapping, uh, tapping a little bit against the mug in his hands, but you don't know what that means.
Oh, hey, my dude, do you know how many
Hmm?
romance movies this girl has watched?
No, but I imagine it's quite a few.
Oh, yeah, it is a lot, and she sees this, and oh, she just has this. Ah! Like, I am going, like, there is, she just has this, like I think when if Lao looks back at her, she has this kind of like scheming aura around her.
That was the fluffiness immediately disappears, and Lao is on his guard. He squints.
The grin.
Cassie, are you feeling all right?
I am doing fantastic.
He squints, considering just a few moments ago she was in tears. What the fuck? But then she shrugs because, you know what, two things.
Yep, and she's not elaborating. Nope. Oh, definitely not.
It's fine. It's fine.
This won't
She kind of shrugs and says,
come back to bite the middle.
it'll be fine. And I'll just kind of shrug and says, well, I'm glad to see you're feeling better. He kind of looks around and says, Well, I'm not certain if there was anything else you wish to discuss at the moment. If not, that's fine. Um, I know that you're always at a stops. I can't believe I'm saying this, but you're always welcome to either write myself or visit if you wish. I won't turn you away if you would like to come by again.
Um, thanks. I think that would be nice. I well, I can't promise that I won't drag you out to do more fixing of things, but we can make sure that the conversation's lighter next time. But thank you for letting me talk about this stuff and ask about your own experiences.
Lao just I for some questions I won't ask won't answer, I suppose, should you ask me about them, but don't feel pressured to have to make everything light and happy all the time. Because just because you're Toon doesn't mean you have to be happy and light all the time. You're still a person and you can still have those bad moments, and should there be something you want to discuss you would rather keep from your family or other friends, kept in confidence, I am happy to do so. It stops and looks down at the table again. It can be quite difficult to find someone to talk to that can talk back about those sorts of things. Kind of answers it, Pig.
Yeah, Pig's just sort of like they've warmed up to Lao. Lao is all right in their books now.
Um,
Um, but yeah, does Lao want to roll an insight on Cassie?
of course. Uh, maths. That is not very high. 13.
I mean, it's still above a 10. I think he will get. I think he will get that. Little bit of a sheepish look that passes her face when he says that you don't always have to be happy. And um, and I think uh, with his offer, she will nod and say,
Thanks. I know that I can talk to them, but I also don't want to worry them anymore.
Understandably so. I mean, if my Mumiko heard about any of the things that have happened to me whilst I've been in Inkwell, don't, I can't say for certain that she wouldn't drop everything she was doing and bring a small army with her.
Your
Make
mum,
sure I hadn't.
your mum sounds really lovely.
See, you see this bird Toon get the soppiest smile on his face, and his lineup goes even fluffier, like the man looks like a cloud. Um, my my mother is the best.
he's such a mama's
And
boy.
loves is. I cannot emphasize enough how much of a mother boy he is. If given the opportunity, he would go off about his mother for a very long time.
Aw. Well, I mean, I'm sure Cassie will sit and listen to one of those rants one of the times she comes over.
Yeah. But yeah. My brain is having a thought, and I'm trying to rattle it loose, but it's not coming loose.
Okay.
Um. Oh, yes! There we go! Before I forget.
Okay.
Kind of, snorts and says, besides, if you'd gone any further down the path of, what's the word? Self-deprecation, I'd have had to, I'd have to do this. And he reaches underneath his blanket, and because he rolled a fumble, but I didn't continue the fumble, I'm gonna still. Oh my fucking god! Okay. He reaches underneath his blanket.
That's another one on the dice to
Uh,
your hammer
yeah,
space. Oh, that's
yeah,
fantastic.
okay. Okay, give us a bit. This is going to be a fumble time. He reaches underneath his blanket and he smirks and he pulls out what looks to be a brass amulet slash charm, shaped into a pair of antlers. He blinks as like, no, not that, and he shoves it back in. Roll again. Oh, there we go. He reaches underneath his blanket. He pulls out. He pulls out the walking cane you saw him use before in the Crunkle Temple. Would Cassie like to roll a investigation or Arcana on this thing? As he points it at her and says, "I would have had to bonk you with this."
Sure, okay, investigation or arcana. Okay, neither of those are her strong suit, so we'll see how this goes. Nope. I mean, this definitely could be worse, but it's not great.
That's fair. It's an 8. Yeah, no, that's a
That's a
spongy
stick.
looking stick. It's cool. It's a stick. It looks kind of cool and a little bit spongy, like it's made of dark wood. And in Lao's grip, it does look like it gives very slightly. I mean, it's just a stick. It's just a cool looking walking cane.
Just
Nothing weird about it.
yeah, it's just
A stick?
And Lao reaches over, and he very, very gently bonks on the head with it. I would have had to do that, but very, very hard. I've done it before, and I'll do it again.
just yeah, I think she is going to like laugh a little bit at that and just like push it away and
Thanks, but I think I'm okay without being bonked on the head.
Are you sure? Because this is a free service. I don't charge for this. And he shakes the stick. He kind of lifts it up a little bit. Sorry, give me a second.
you're all good. Um yeah, I think
Sorry, I choked on my water.
that's fine. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I choked on my water. um, um, yeah, Lau was just gonna lift up his staff and wiggle it a bit, and Cassie can see there is a slight smirk on his face.
Yeah, she's gonna push her chair back a little bit more and just oh, okay, I think hmm. Oh, she can roll this one of two ways. I think I'm gonna roll a d2 again to see which way she decides to go for. Okay. Yep. Yeah, okay. There is a bit of a mischievous grin on her face as like she's pushed her chair back a little bit and her feet are on the floor. And Pig is more secure in her arms and she says, you'd have to catch me first.
Uh, Lau thinks, and she can see him. This is like clearly put upon a frontman. Yeah, he does it very well, but this is very clearly a put upon offence. As he looks at her and says, "I can't believe you'd make a man in a wheelchair chase you. How could asked you, Cassie.
Ain't I a stinker?
Stinker isn't the word I'd use. I get far more creative.
Well, I am a PG-rated toon. I can only go so far.
Oh, blinks, squints. I don't know what that means, but okay.
Cassie is in the legally not allowed to say fuck camp.
Lao, meanwhile, must expressly say fuck at least once a day or he will have an aneurysm. Gosh. Don't know if this is going to end with Lao lifting up his cane and just kind of jokingly poking at Cassie and following her out the door.
Yeah, yeah, do you want me to roll a dex save or something?
Yeah, just to see how many hits you can dodge, and I'm just gonna roll a foe attack.
Oh, fantastic.
Quarterstaff. Lao's proficient in those, aren't you? I'm just gonna say he's proficient in these.
Probably, if he's used it a lot.
I mean, he's used it as a cane. He's not used it as an attack. Oh my god. Yeah, no. I think that beats my 8. You can kind of tell he's not used to using it like this in the chair because he's just trying to do it with one hand and he keeps missing as you very easily dance out of the way.
Yeah, she's probably very literally dancing out of the way of it, like, like very easily just whoop to the side and back again, and just sort of like walking backwards. That seems like a good time for me to leave. It was fun. I'm definitely gonna have to do this again sometime. The going out and fixing things, maybe less the heart to heart and crying over tea. That's not something I want to do a huge amount. Do say hi to Shifley, and sorry that I missed him, and that I'll come around again sometime soon. Have a nice time. Bye.
She runs away. Definitely doesn't run away. Actually, prances away. She's gonna hear shouted after her. Al's not giving me what he's gonna shout. But scoundrel is probably definitely in there.
Is it have to be bleeped out for
No, it doesn't have to be bleeped out. It's something more along the lines of keep yourself out of trouble, scoundrel, something like that. He's not giving me exact words.
Is what? Me? I never get into trouble.
Don't think she's gonna hear shouted. Don't think I'm above snitching.
Just the boo and
Oh, and tell Shifley that Pig says hi.
Yes, I'll tell him.
which is followed by a hiss from Pig that is definitely not very friendly.
Oh, I hold them so gently. Yeah, no, Lao's just probably gonna wave his stick as a goodbye wave off.
Yep. Yeah. I think she's leaving in much better spirits than when she arrived. The second time anyway. But yeah, definitely feeling a little better about a bunch of things. And also definitely scheming on how to maybe wingman certain two tunes.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh gosh, this was fun.
This was good fun. This was great fun. I'm really
Very
glad
good
we got to
fun.
do this.
Yeah. Me, on one hand, I wish Lao had dug deeper and really dug into that trauma and laid it out across the table. Counterpoint. Probably best he didn't.
Yeah, it definitely could have gone a lot angstier than it ended up going. I was expecting it to be more angsty than it ended up going, but both of our characters said no. We're gonna have therapy time instead and not drag out all the angst.
Mm. I'm surprised Lao didn't bring up more of what happened to him. Although I suppose Cassie didn't ask the specific questions about it.
Mm.
But yeah, should probably end the recording.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah. Thank everyone for listening. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun.
I did too.
Got to play with a very cool dude.
Me too.
Yes. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care of yourselves and have a good time soon.
Yee. Bye.
Bye.